Alright, welcome back. Engineering, design, and development. Before we went on break, you guys finished your project proposal for your end of year project. So now we're going to start working on the next part. And the end goal of this first quarter here is for you guys to be done with your first design review. So this is just one part of it, and we're going to go over some different things. But this is the end goal. This isn't for one specific activity. Just like your project proposal, you then have a design review, and then finally we'll have the third part of the assignment, and that will be to finish up your final project. So to start, we're going to go with element D here, and within this you guys are going to have concept generation, analysis, and selection. And what that means is you guys need to be able to have a design by the end of this that you're going to go with, not built, but just selected. And so that means from the brainstorming process to deciding which your final design you're going to go with. So let's take a look here. The first thing is you guys, the design that you choose needs to have a good justification, and this can be done through the use of a design matrix. And by showing that you've compared each design to your design requirements. And you need to be able to justify your decisions as well. So eventually at the end of the year you're going to present to other engineers, classmates, and all your group members need to know what they're doing, need to know what they're talking about, and they need to know why you guys went with one direction over the other. Okay? A lot of times you will not get to choose who's the person that answers the question because they're not asking you. They might be asking one of the other group members. And so if they can't answer, then it shows that this project was your project and not a team project, and that is not good. All right. Once again, feelings are an opinion, and can you defend your choices is another thing that needs to happen by the end of this first design review. So using matrices, research, any mathematical calculations, stakeholder feedback. So if you're working on a project, let's say, I don't know, you're creating a mold for something, all right, go to Who's Your Pattern, because that's what they do. They create molds, all right, and get feedback on your design, and then bring that into your design review. That way you can be like, hey, we're not experts in this field yet, but we went and talked to experts and they told us this. All right, that is going to help add much more validity to your project and is going to make you more credible. So by the end, and what I am going to expect to see in the first design review is, first, multiple design solutions. This is called a senior capstone course for a reason. So you shouldn't be just like our little design projects that we do in Intro to Engineering and stuff like that, where people create 2 or 3 ideas and that's it. All right, this is a senior capstone course, so I expect to see quite a few different ideas. And the main thing is, remember during brainstorming, it's not the time to evaluate your projects. It's about quantity. All right, so you don't want to spend a bunch of time thinking about quality and how this is going to work and that's going to work. All right, the brainstorming time, that's your blue sky. The sky's the limit. It's not the time to think about whether it's feasible or not. That's what we go back and do later. All right, so I expect to see lots of ideas. Next, you should include with this element concept sketches, schematics, drawings. So for all your ideas, concept sketches don't need to be crazy, all right? It needs to be clear, clean, and concise so that we can actually understand what you're drawing using labels, all right? Schematics are like wiring diagrams. So maybe you're doing something with electricity, all right, and then you would use your schematics. And then drawings. So when you get further down the rabbit hole and you start creating a little better drawings, maybe you narrow it down to 3 ideas and you divvy up the work so each person creates a drawing, and then from there you decide which one's going to be the best one. And then you create a detailed drawing for that one. So that might be the only one that you actually design in Inventor or something like that. Next, a prioritized list of design requirements, which you'll use to compare your concepts. So let's do something like, for example, if my project was to develop some object that was cheap, that could be used to purify drinking water. All right. The first step and first object, or number one priority, is that it has to purify water. If the end product doesn't do that, it doesn't work. All right. The next thing would be that maybe it's costly and under a certain dollar amount. Okay. Even though it's not under a certain dollar amount but can still purify water, you have somewhat solved the problem, but not the entire problem. And then maybe you have aesthetics later on, or it's easy to use, or things like that. But the highest priority is that it actually has to purify water, and then your list of priorities go down. It would be nice if it was easy to use, or it'd be nice if it could be solar power, or things like that, right? So have a prioritized list of design requirements, which you then can compare your concepts to. Next, a decision matrix, and that can be done through Inventor, not Inventor. I'm sure you can find a way, but that can be done through Excel. And your decision matrix is going to be very simple. It doesn't have to be time consuming. You have idea 1, you have idea 2, idea 3, idea 4, idea 5, and then maybe you have cost and access to materials and ease of use and whether it's aesthetically pleasing, or sure, I don't know. Alright, you should be able to create a better list than that. I'm just throwing something off the top of my head. And then you go through each of your ideas and you rate them out of 5 or 10 or whatever, and you're like, a 10 is good. So 10 means that the cost is as low as it can go. This one we think it would cost quite a bit. This one we think would be the most expensive. So you rate them. And then access to materials, this idea would be like a 5 and 6 and 4. Alright, and then you add them all up, and then your idea, theoretically the one that you go with, should be the one that gets the highest score, right? But these areas might have weights too, alright, based off your priority list. So one area might have more weight than the other. Just something to keep in mind. And that's how you would do a design matrix. Next, and then your final design with justification for selection. So you should have a Inventor quality sketch. If you're not going to do Inventor, then it better be really good hand-drawn. Okay. Final design with justification for your selection. So I would write at least maybe a page at most, okay, that justifies how you've gone through this whole process, and this is the reason why we're going with this. And that would be enough to satisfy this first design review. Finally, you're going to create a PowerPoint based off of everything you do here, and you'll present that as a group. So this is just kind of a 2/3 way checkpoint for your project, okay? So keep that in mind. This is your first design review. If you have questions, talk to your other classmates, talk to your teacher. And if I have the ability to answer email, I will. If I don't, I apologize. But with that, good luck. Make sure you go over these next videos. Don't just start going into it. Alright. We're going to break this up. But this is just to give you an example. So some of the future videos are going to show you how to make a decision matrix a little more. How to create a prioritized list of design requirements. What does that look like? But that's it. So with that, have a good day and good luck.